This is Justin AMZN on Tuesday, July 30th, 2019. This is the move we had today. Pre-market, we were selling off a little bit, actually getting really close to having it open right below yesterday's low. And that turned into a really strong hammer or dragonfly doji and just totally bounced from there. The only thing we really contended with as a low the rest of the day was this next candle, and we were pretty much holding above this opening 5-minute candle all day. We came back into it once, twice, three times, and each time bounced, bounced, and bounced. This one actually kind of completed this triangle here, came up into this resistance, and gave you a nice little S curve and continued higher. Didn't quite get back up to the high of the day before rolling over. And then it looks like this could still be setting up for a bigger S curve. Came right back down pretty much to this level, and we'll see if we can get a continuation here and ultimately like a bigger triangle. If you kind of take this line, follow along here, this is kind of the upper range of a symmetric triangle, and then this is kind of the lower range here. I'll put that line back because we've been using that line. We'll see if we can get back up here or up to 1925 tomorrow. We've really retested and pulled back down into this level. The low on this day was 1884. The low we had today was 1883.48. Not quite into 1880. That's okay. It doesn't have to do that. It's kind of a secondary retest of this gap. We closed that gap on this candle, came back into that price on this candle, but we ultimately, continued going higher. We'll see if we do some sort of bouncing here. It's the place to do it. I know we've got the bearish momentum starting to grow here, and it's just a matter of kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. We've got a nice indecision candle here, kind of a high wave. It's got a little bit of a larger upper wick than the lower wick, but still indecisive at this level. A drop in volume. Be great to see an inside candle be a little bit bearish, and a gap up above that if we can rest here that long. Otherwise, getting a bounce at this point, right from here would set it up similar to kind of, if you squint, what happened here with like kind of these four candles starting to bounce. Let's see, where else have we pulled back and held above that? Kind of this one, a little closer to 1880. And then let's see, holding above this. So we've bounced above 1880 before, and I don't remember exactly where 1880 came in. It looks like it's this candle, this high. Okay, so going back to, oh wow, about a year ago, July 27th last year, we were putting a high at this level, which was at that time a new all-time high, and contended with that price in here. Looks like we contended with it again in here and here, and retested from below, and then that price has become, let's see, another place to kind of contend with as neckline, and then as support, and potential support. So, like I was saying yesterday, a little more bearishness. We did make a lower high, lower low. We made a lot of higher highs and higher lows along here, so we by no means have to be done making lower highs at this point or lower lows at this point. We're just looking for where is it going to turn bullish. In the meantime, getting set up with the trade to go bearish is not a problem. Just doing it from the right location. And so we talked about this being a bigger S curve, and here we had the open way down here, and it retested way back up into this price, which is just about where we closed, a little bit lower. But if you kind of continue this curve, it's curving into this price. And even this one, if you give it a little bit more of a curve on this, I don't do this too much when I'm doing the videos, but if you draw actually a curve like this, you start to see kind of how some of these things can fit. You know, if I hit the line here or the level here and here, if you turn off extended hours, I think these would fit better. Actually, no, they probably would not. Let's see. See if there's a way to get this to fit better like this. And I don't have any calculations or anything behind getting this to fit. All I know is I've drawn some of these circles. And it's like, oh, look, that kind of fits into that range a little bit. And I think if you did something like this, yeah, so if we make that kind of a peak, oops, it doesn't want to snap. There we go. Oh, close. Okay, if I take that peak and this peak, and over here, I'm a little below it here. I think, yeah, there's probably not a way to get that one included. But when I've drawn some of these, and I have no idea if this one's the right fit, but all I'm showing is just another perspective on this stuff. Once we're outside of this range, so all I'm looking at is this curvature. Well, in order to hit these, these 3 points for this curve, we've defined the curve, but then none of this matters anymore. It's outside of that range. And you don't really know where to set this, until I don't have rules on setting it. Like this is something that I've figured out. If someone's got calculations on it, that's really cool. And if they've got something that predicts, that's really cool too. I could set this. This is an ellipse. I could set this up at one of the focus points here, and that's kind of the same x value from the away from the peak in y. But if I make this the peak and this the focus, then I could hit at any point along here as predicting, something like that. I have no idea if that would actually work. Looking out to the next day, when you're anticipating an S curve. I don't know. I'm just showing you another perspective, something that I've drawn in here. But anyway, if we come back into the candles and just look at what's going on with the candles, we had a really nice rally and a very quick rally that just needed some time to be digested. And so we were looking at another place to kind of roll back down. We got it up here. And from there, we pushed right back down into this 1895 price. And we were really, really close to 1900 all day. Kind of straddling in 1900 from way down here to way up here. And then even this consolidation is just below it. So it's a nice round number. And so you can look at the 1900 calls and 1900 puts. They're a little expensive. So I was looking at some of the, let's see, 1925 calls and 1975 puts, just to get the next quarter number out of the money. And we can take a look and see what happened in each of these. Buying at this point, buying here on a rally, buying here, or at least looking at a place to buy here. In the future, that would have been here or here or here, and see what happened to the options then. So this was at 1025, this was at 1055, and this was at 1155. So if we look at the calls, the initial open price that wicked down only came down to the like 7x6 range, and then that's like 640 the low. If you're trying to get the 640 price inside of your $1 risk, doing something like 7x6, this is the 1025, 1055, and then 1155. And I don't know that it would have worked 7x6 here, but it looks like that would have filled here and here. And had you held through this, you would have been up, a little more than an R each time. And then where this pulls back down, if you had already moved your stop, maybe to 650 or even to 7, it looks like it would have held that and then rallied on to give you 3R at this peak, which was close enough to the high of the stock that would have been a good place to have a target, just not knowing exactly where the option would go. So probably 10 would be a nice round number, similar to the highs of these candles in here. But having a target way up here at 12 was probably a stretch, and it didn't really get up there anyway. So it's just the way things traded today. You can see it wasn't going that bullish, wasn't going that strong, and needed more time to just digest this this bearish edge that's been there on a shorter term time frame. If we look at puts, similar times, let me go back here. So looking at puts here and here, probably here and here, because this would have been so tight. You're waiting for the direction to be chosen or directed rather than getting in front of it. And so looking at puts here, looking at puts here was probably around 11:30 here and around 10:30 here. So if we go over to the 1875 puts, 10:30 we had let's see, a low around 821, and then 11:30 the low is, well, the one price was 891. So and you can see again here that we just didn't have as much volume to be able to trade this directionally. You'd really just be scalping an R going from like 9 up to 10, something like that, or even over here for maybe you'd still do 9 by 8 up to 10. If you go a little further in, or at the money, 1900, you can see just a little more pricey. We got the volume, and then some of these times where you're getting these pullbacks, you get very different values here, significantly, because you're at the money or in the money. If we go further out, the $100 risk starts to work a little better on a Tuesday, and not great, but you can at least have something set up to get in on a pullback here. Maybe set up like 350 by 250 or 350 by 3, and it looks like maybe that wouldn't have filled, and this one too. Or once this one comes in, 360 is low, and then you're looking for a pullback. Maybe you did like 4 by 3, and you're just scalping, and it doesn't even get up to 5 in this case. So 1850 was a difficult put to be in this case as well. So that, I guess, means waiting, not trading, or waiting for the directional move to be defined here, where it starts to break out. We're still at such a smaller time frame, down here in the 5-minute, that going directional here, you just wanted to get something with a $100 risk. It was more difficult to get something that's directionally moving, with you and getting into the price that you want. And you can spend a couple minutes looking around at the options, and then just setting up the trade. So like as this was bouncing, I was looking at, gosh, I can't remember what option it was. I don't think it was the 1925. I think it was something else. I think I was further out. I think I was looking at the 1950 calls here, because I liked how steady they were for $100 risk. Yeah, and so this moved pretty quickly. Let's see, so this one now, 11:55, I think, when that started to bounce. Yeah, 11:55, but that started to bounce, and that would have been getting in around $3, and it didn't come back down to 3. It was at 310. It came so close to being back at 3, and I don't know for sure if that would have filled 3 by 2 or 3 by 250. And then this one, missing that, seeing that rise up here, that would have been a nice R to just get in like 350 and ride it up to 450, or get in at 325 with a stop down at like 225 or something, and just taking profit when it got back up to this range around 425. That would have been a nice 1R gain, and go about your day then. So I just liked how this option had much more easily managed $100 risk that was holding in about $1 range through most of this midday. And those are the kind of trades that you really can just set it up and just walk away, knowing that your option is not going to lose all that value from theta decay as the day goes by. And so that gets more to be more of a challenge on a Thursday or Friday, where those out of the money options are being depleted even quicker. So in this case, one of those would have worked at just being quick to get into it and being a little more nimble with what the candles are setting up with. So looking for a price to be at 3 was a little bit more of a pullback here, whereas this is already showing we have a triangle. We're rallying. This is a better rally than we've seen. We've had, we had 5 candles in a row rallying, but one of them was bearish. This time we got 5 candles in a row rallying, and they're all bullish. Now, this 2 candle rally, but it chopped right back down to really similar low or slightly higher low with 5 bearish candles. So you see more bearishness coming in here, a little bullishness, more bearishness, a little more bullish, a little less bearish, much more bullish, and it's kind of a transition to then going into an S curve and learning to recognize this and getting in at the right price just when it's pulling back into this, or getting it above the high and a stop below, back down here, or much more conservatively down here. And that's probably where you could have snagged an R if you had just gotten in at the right price right in here and just look for some profit. And so we'll hopefully be able to find something like that tomorrow and be back with another video to see how this is going to proceed from here. If we go sideways, up or down, and if we go down some more, we're going to trap more bulls who are getting in today. If we go down some more here, the bears are going to think, okay, they're right, they're pushing this lower. If we were to hit like 1863.84, that would get some more bears loading in down here if they're even looking to the left of these candles here. But we're back into some of this just chop zone in here. And so it'll be interesting to see if we get anything directional with that kind of a gap. We should at least get something initially out the gate if we do gap down. Maybe not quite as bullish as this one was out the gate for a bearish gap, but that happens, and that was a really good signal to say, hey, this is not really going to go strongly bearish today. And really, like I said, it held this, and then we ran, and we continued to, we consolidated, we continued up, and then we stayed in the upper range, well, not upper half or anything, but we stayed a little more positive with the support in here. Didn't really look like it was rolling over at any point today. I guess maybe this, but it still needed another retest before it was just going to completely collapse. And once it got the retest, and then it's like, okay, now it's going to go. That's when you get another hammer and even Morningstar reversal and starts to bounce again. It's like, okay, this, 2 times it told me it's not going lower. Holding this, I should be ready for the third one here. And I'm sure some bulls were and some bulls weren't, and some were late, and it's just a matter of having set up in your plans so you know when to get in and where, and looking for the candles that you want to see at the right prices. So this was a nice bounce off of really our 1895 price, and we'll see if we contend with that at all tomorrow. See if we can get a bounce or a rally going up into the 1900s and 1925 ideally, and take one day at a time. So hope you enjoyed this video. Hope this helped. This is Justin AMZN. Thanks.